Today I want to share my experiences of why I work hourly. And this is going to be different for everybody. I just want to share my experience and why I would rather work hourly. I actually am a licensed contractor, so I've had my own companies. I've done a lot of contract work. But at this point in my life, and with my personality, and this is really important to know because everybody's personality is different, and that's going to make a really, really big difference when if you want to become a contractor. And we've all been through this phase in our lives where we want to make more money, and we're thinking, man, I'm making money for somebody that's already rich. I want to start doing my own money. I want to work for myself. I want to work for my future. And we've all been through it. We've all thought about it. That's why I was a contractor, because of course nobody starts out as a contractor. We all start out as a worker, and then eventually we want to become a contractor to make the money. And that's a great idea. I don't want to discourage anybody. I just want to share my experience and why at this point in my life and with my personality, I'd rather work hourly. I'll give you a little bit of my experience and what's happened to me. I started pouring concrete when I was 18 years old. By the time I was 20, I was a foreman, and I was doing really good. I was a really good foreman, and everybody liked me. I mean, I was even though I was really young, I was really responsible. I could, I was doing commercial concrete, so I was doing big projects. I knew how to read blueprints. I knew how to manage people. I had quite a bit of experience, and to me, at that point in my life, the sky was the limit. And I knew that I was a really good tradesman, so I said, you know what? That's it. I'm not going to make any more money for other people. So around the age of 26, 27, I got my contractor's license. And I was thinking, man, this is it. This is it. Now I can make money. So, of course, I hired a couple guys. And this is what we all think. And if you're thinking about starting your own, contracting, this is what's in your mind for sure. Because it's what was in everybody's mind. You're thinking, I'm going to start getting jobs. I'm going to hire some good guys, and they're going to do the work. And I'll just keep on hiring, finding jobs, and I'll have a good crew, and they're going to do the work for me. Well, I realized really fast that it doesn't work that way. Now, at this point in my life, I could say I'm a company man. I'm somebody that would rather work hourly. And there's been quite a few different guys that start. Right now I'm doing apartment maintenance. So that's what I do right now. And I've had a few guys that start their own little, handyman businesses or stuff like that, or they have ideas like that. And they always want to hire me. They're thinking, man, I'll just hire this guy. I'll get the jobs, and I got a good worker. I'll pay him what he wants, and he'll make me the money. Of course, it's not going to work that way, because at my age, with my experience, it's not that I don't want to make money. It's that I'd rather stay in a big company, because I know that the guy that's starting out, he may have a good contract or a good. Might start out, pretty lucky, but eventually stuff gets hard. You get into taxes, into insurances, into all kinds of bills, and he may not have the money to even pay me. Sometimes I have to wait for his money to clear or get some money to pay me, and I know that there's going to be a struggle. So at this point in my life, I've told all these guys no. There's a guy that I met the other day, and he had this great idea. He's going to do this. He's going to be like an on-call afternoons, and then have a crew to do the on-call, and he's going to charge good. And he called me. He said, man, you're the perfect guy for what I want to do. Of course, I'm not interested in that. I'd rather just keep my job. Why would I start over there where it's a new company? He doesn't really have any money to start. Got a good idea. It's just he's going to have to do it on his own. So I realized really fast when I was a contractor that it's not easy to bring the good people out of the companies. I thought I was going to be able to get, I know that guy from that company because I was a foreman, so I knew the good guys, and I thought, man, I'm gonna have a good crew. Well, it didn't work. I ended up hiring friends and other people that I met. So I ended up making a crew that was semi-professional. I couldn't bring the really professional guys that I knew. They were not interested in starting with me, which now I understand. At that point, I was a little obsessive. Why not, man? I'm gonna make some money. Well, that was on my mind, and that's on everybody's mind when you want to become a contractor. Soon enough, I realized that with my personality, that's why I say the personality is really important. It was really hard to be a good contractor. First of all, I was really strict when I was a foreman, because I was there, I was on the site, I was looking at everything that was going on. I was keeping a close eye on every person because I was there. and I was pouring a lot of concrete and getting a lot done. Once I was the owner, it was different because I could not physically be at the job site all the time. I had to rely on the guys. I had to try and find a good professional foreman, but I really never found one. I didn't. I hired a good finisher and made him a foreman. He didn't understand the concept of getting things done. They were all there for the hours. I'll give you guys an example. For example, one time I was going to pour some concrete, and we had a couple of trucks, and my truck had some of the stakes, and the other truck had all the 2x4s to do set the forms. So we unloaded all the stakes and everything that we needed, and I had to go estimate some work. And I left them there. I pulled the string lines for them just to make sure that all the grades were correct, and all they had to do was set forms and grade the slab. So I left. I was gone for hours, 4 or 5 hours, thinking tomorrow in the morning we're pouring this, because these guys, it was pretty simple, just set the forms and grade it. Well, when I pull into the job site, I see them all cleaning the truck, the form truck. I'm thinking, why are they cleaning the truck? But then I realized that they never set the forms. So I get off my truck and I tell them, what's going on? I mean, you guys, the truck looks good, but I want the forms done. That's what we had to do because we're pouring in the morning. I said, well, you took the nails. Took the nails with you. When you left, you took the nails. I thought a foreman would say, like, in my case, if something's missing, I'll just go buy some nails, and then I'll give the owner the receipt and tell him, you know what, I had to buy some nails. We didn't have nails, and we couldn't stand around, so I bought them. But you're not going to find guys like that. Really rare you're going to find a guy like that. I read a quote the other day, and it's really true. It's really hard to hire motivated people because they're already busy. So it's really hard to hire those guys. It's really, really hard to bring them. If you're starting, it's really hard because they're already busy. They're making money somewhere else. They don't really need you. You need them, but it's really hard to find them or bring them to you. And that's a really important experience that I learned. So I realized really fast that these guys were there to make the right hours. They didn't care if the job got done or didn't. What the guy said, the foreman said, man, you're just going to have to move the pour to the next day. And I'm thinking, man, each one of you is costing me a lot of money. And I had to pour that the next day because the following day I had something else lined up. So I realized really fast that if I'm not there and I can't be really strict with them, I should have probably fired them. But if I'd have done that, then I would have had nobody. So I realized really fast that it's not easy to be a contractor. The guys they're not going to be as professional when you're a small company because they end up being your friends and stuff like that. And you feel responsible for lining up work for them because they have families and they're relying on you finding jobs. So I realized it's not easy. Now, I don't want to say that it's impossible to be a contractor. Of course, here in Tucson where I live at, and when I was a contractor, I lived in Phoenix, there's hundreds of contractors that are doing good. So it's not that it's impossible. It was my personality, the way that I am and what I wanted to do in the state that I'm working, and it's really important where you live at too, and I'll go into that. Being a contractor is not a good deal for me. I'll say why the state means a lot where you live at. Arizona is a right-to-work state. So any guy that's out there that's a contractor, he's not just a plumber or a concrete guy. Or everybody knows a lot here. Like, if you're a concrete guy, you probably do masonry, you probably do brickwork and stone and all kinds of things. Because here in Arizona, they get really good. So when you're bidding, you're competing against guys that are really good at a lot of things. You're not just bidding the slab, because the other guy, he got the slab, he's bidding for the dirt work, and he's doing a packet. So it becomes more complicated here in that sense. The other thing that happens here is that this is not a union state. So the prices are not as high. It's a right to work state, so prices are lower. So when you're bidding, you're not gonna bid as high as you would in other states. So that's really important to realize where you live at. It makes a big difference. Now, for example, here in Arizona, though, you are required to have a contractor's license to do jobs that are over $1,000. So it gets really hard because once you got a contractor's license, you have to be licensed, insured, bonded. You have to have an accountant. You have to pay taxes, and that's all adding up. That's a lot of paperwork. That's money, and it gets really expensive. And you try to go bid a small job, and the first thing they'll ask you is, are you licensed? Are you bonded? Are you insured? Now, Texas is different. For example, I got a brother that he was only an apprentice when he was here in Arizona. He went to Texas and he became a contractor overnight. it's different over there. And he was doing work for like big projects. It's different. They don't require a license, so you could just buy a truck and some tools and call yourself a contractor. Of course, you still got to pay taxes, but it's really different. So the state I'm in, it's really hard, and you have to think about this if you want to become a contractor. Now, with this, I don't want to say that it's not a good deal to be a contractor. Again, it all depends on your personality. In my case, now I'll give an example of where I'm at in my life. For example, I work hourly, and I do okay, but I don't just work hourly. I realized a long time ago that your 40 hours should just cover your bills. Your 40 hours should cover your bills. Now, if you want to make extra money, you can always work overtime. Most companies right now, they'll let you work overtime because everybody's shorthanded. The problem is, if it's Friday and they say, hey, man, can you stay till 7, 8? And you can say, no, man, it's Friday. Can you come in Saturday, Sunday? You can say, no, man, it's Saturday, Sunday. I don't work Saturday, Sundays. You know that. So if you have that attitude, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying if you think that way, if you become a contractor, you're going to realize really fast that Saturday, Sunday doesn't mean anything. You still have to work. Friday night, everybody's partying. You still got to work because when you're a contractor, you're going to be working all these hours that nobody wants to work. You may not be physically at the job site, but you're still estimating, you're still doing math, you're still doing payroll. So it's not easy. Now, then after that, I thought, you know what? I'll just start doing smaller jobs. I'll be my own worker. I'll do handyman work. I'll be able to, not rely on anybody, and I'll do okay. So I started doing small, handyman jobs, which at first was okay, but then I realized, man, I'm working more hours. I can only do the money that my hands physically can do. There's only, so many hours in a week and 24 hours in a day, and I can't work all the 24. So I realized really fast that just me being a worker was really, really, really hard. It seemed like it was good, but there was a lot of time that nobody was paying me for picking up material, estimating. Nobody was paying me for that time. And then, of course, the inevitable happened. I had a good customer, then I had another good customer, and they all wanted the work at the same time, and I didn't want to lose my customer, so I figured, man, I'm going to have to hire some guys. And there we go again. As soon as I started hiring some guys, I had 2 guys working with me, my profits went downhill because nobody is interested in doing the job. Most people are just people that you're going to hire as a small contractor are going to be people that are there to do their 8 hours and I'll see you later, man. If it got done, it got done. If it didn't, it's on you. And that's the way they think. Now, at this point in my life, I learned that I can still make money. YouTube, for example, is paying me. So it's not paying me much, but I do have 2 channels. I have this channel, I have a Spanish channel. So between both, I get some money. So, and then my channels are growing. So that's passive income. That's a side hustle that I'm doing. I also bought properties. I bought my own. I have a few homes that I own. So I make money from that too, and that's also passive income. Of course, I work a lot of overtime. I'm always working overtime. So in reality, now as an hourly worker, with the setup that I have, now I make more money. Even though I don't make big, money at once, like you can when you're a contractor, but now it comes in slowly, but every month. So now I learned with patience and time that if you have some side hustles and your job, or you're good at overtime, you can actually make more money in the long run. I've known many contractors for many years. Sometimes you'll find a contractor and he's got a really big truck, really nice truck, a trailer, and all these toys, motorcycles, and really nice stuff, and a nice house. And you think, man, that guy's really successful. Well, they're not always that successful. Sometimes they're in a lot of debt. And sometimes I've seen them over the years, they have a good 5-7 year span that they make a lot of money. And then all of a sudden the economy goes down or something moves, something happens, and they go downhill. I've seen a lot of them get sued over things. I've seen a lot of them, like when the economy goes down, they go down really hard because everything's on credit. You're thinking, man, this guy's a millionaire. And I'm not saying all contractors. There's a lot of good contractors that over the years, they stuck it out and they did good and they have their clientele and they're really smart. And they're no longer contractors, they're companies now. So there's a big difference. When somebody becomes an actual company, a structure of a company, that's different. than a contractor. Contractor is a guy out of his truck most of the time, with a crew and doing stuff like that. Once they're good, they become a company, and that's different. And that's when they made it. But they're I no longer consider those a contractor. Consider those a company. So that's what I learned. That another thing that's really important for me is I'm an hourly worker, so I live below my means. That's really important to me. Even though I own homes, I still live in a mobile home. I live in a mobile home right now. That it's 5 minutes from my job. It's 5 minutes from my daughter's school. So I'm in a part of town that's good, even though I'm just in a mobile park. But I'm saving money that way. So that way I can invest in properties. I can invest in cameras and gear for YouTube, because I'm living below my means. I work a lot of overtime. I'm always working. Saturday, Sunday, you'll find me working overtime, which is where I make my money. So like I said before, in my case, and it's going to be different for everybody, but in my case, with the situation I'm in, with my personality, it's better to be an hourly worker. Now, if you're really strict and you know how to push people, you may be a good contractor. And obviously there's hundreds of good contractors out there, because otherwise nobody would ever be a contractor. So, but if you're a contractor, share with the guys in the comments what your experience is and why you were able to be a good contractor. I was never a good contractor. It's a flaw. Well, I don't want to say it's a flaw. It's my personality that never let me be a good contractor, and I'm okay with it. Even though I was a great tradesman, I've always been good at my trade, whatever trade I'm doing. I try to be the best. I always try to practice as much as I can, learn as much as I can to be a good tradesman, to be a good foreman, to be a good maintenance supervisor. Whatever I'm doing, I always try to do my best. I'm personally not there just for my 8 hours. I'm there to get things done. To me, that's important. But I'm not interested in working for a small contractor. So, I mean, that's my experience. Your experience may be different. And if you're thinking about doing, contract work, I don't want to say it's not good. I just want to say that actually I want to share my experiences. And maybe you're a different person, and hopefully you do really good.